Agenda item for Speedwatch, Mr. David McCandless wishes to address the committee. Mr. McCandless, I know you've been here since the start, so you're aware of the proceedings. Your time starts now.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Chairman. Basically, Speedwatch, a bit like Neighbourhood Watch, is a group of volunteers assisting the police. And that's all it is. It is not enforcement by any means whatsoever. It is like Neighbourhood Watch, helping the police. Unfortunately, that view of Speedwatch is not held by St Ives Town Council, who believe it to be enforcement, only because we stand in the cold and the raging sun to operate. Just recently, St Ives Town Council refused to support Speedwatch, and in doing so, because of the new guidelines laid down by the police, that Speedwatch has to be council-led, Speedwatch in St Ives, as it stands at the moment, has come to a grinding halt. Because the police insist that it's council-led, the council won't lead it. And initially, Speedwatch was laid down by a joint venture by the Road Safety Partnership and the police. I get no joy from the police, I get no joy from my town council. So I now appeal to this committee to find a way for me, please, through maybe the Road Safety Partnership, to educate St Ives Town Council to the fact that Speedwatch is not enforcement, because it did in fact refuse to support us on the basis that the council is of the view that enforcement is the job of the police. Every man jack of us in Speedwatch believes that enforcement is the job of the police, and we're only there because the police aren't doing that job. But in the meantime, do we bury our heads in the sand, or do we actually, like we do with Neighbourhood Watch, do something about it? We choose to do something about it, and St Ives Town Council is the only council in the area that has refused to support Speedwatch. That's the first issue. The second issue is the guidelines, and 2 days ago I met with the police, who will not budge. They say it has to be council-led. So the guidelines say that Speedwatch will only take place where the council has approved it. However, the guidelines also say that it can be council or police-led. So the inspector and I thought we might be able to get a little bit around that by getting the local neighbourhood police to come out with us, approve the sites, and then we can operate in St Ives. And we might be looking at finding a way around it. But we shouldn't be finding a way around it. We should be doing it with the support of the council, who take all the complaints in from the residents, and then focus all of those complaints to Speedwatch or the police as appropriate. The third problem is that Fenstanton Parish Council believe that the new signs okay, it's my baby, my crusade, these new Speedwatch operates here signs, which the county council are now installing. Your road safety manager installs them. They've been approved by the police and the road safety manager. The parish councils pay for it, but Fenstanton Parish Council won't allow these signs to be erected because they believe they're a distraction and therefore a road safety hazard. When Speedwatch operates, we have to put additional signs out. And because the Fenstanton Parish Council believes that additional signs are a distraction, we can't put signs out, therefore we can't do Speedwatch in Fenstanton. So again, the Road Safety Partnership is being asked to educate Fenstanton Parish Council about the safety, if you like, of these signs that the Road Safety Manager all went through your traffic division, through Amanda Mays, and now it's being led by Peter Taylor, who is the installation manager for these signs. Can the Road Safety Partnership please educate Fenstanton Parish Council? And thirdly, And probably most annoyingly, since this great collaboration took place in April 13, we've lost all our camera vans. All the camera vans that operated in the rural sites that Speedwatch has taken years getting all the information and traffic surveys done in order to justify caravans at a stroke. With collaboration, the funding, which was council funding, disappeared. All the traffic vans went down to Stevenage, and except for killed and seriously injured sites, nobody else gets a camera van because that funding has disappeared. What I would ask is that the Road Safety Partnership, or whichever body is responsible for finding funding, gets us some funding back, because your roads are not safer without camera vans, that's for sure. And we have identified where they're needed. And that, Mr. Chairman, is my submission.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. A little more than 3 minutes.
Oh, was it?
You were given a bit of a licence there. You heard before, we cannot tell other councils what to do. However, correct me if I'm wrong before I open it to questions from the floor. What you're actually stating is that it would appear that the main problem seems to be communication, in that an awful lot of local councils don't know the role and the remit that Speedwatch had and why it was set up in the first place. You're correct in saying that it is the road safety partnerships that have the authority to do what you're asking, but that we do have an input into those organisations. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think what you're asking this committee to do is to recommend to the Road Safety Partnership that the role of Speedwatch needs to be better publicised to the local councils.
It needs to be done by somebody in authority. I am nobody in authority. I am just a simple resident of St Ives who does Speedwatch every now and again. And I'm just happen to be their spokesman because I can do it in almost 3 minutes.
I do know what you've been, and as with a couple of other councillors here, we have been out with you and seen what you do. So you have given us a very good brief, and I thank you for that. We also have a response from Inspector Greenhall at Cambridgeshire Police Headquarters, which we've also had sight at. But I will now open questions up to the floor. Does any member of the committee have a question for Mr. Canvas? Councillor Curtis.
Thank you, Chair. Does St Ives Town Council, I'm not familiar with the Town Council governance because I'm representing the City Division. We have area committees, and our area committees, one of the most important things they do is set the police priorities, which then gives the mandate for Speedwatch and other things. Now, there is an issue about how much the police have appetite for doing something with the information or the letters that it generates, but that's another point. But where are your police priorities set, and where does the community have an input into setting those police priorities?
At the moment there aren't. There is no forum. It used to be set by the neighbourhood forums,
Right.
but they've disappeared. And then since then there has been no local setting of police priorities to my knowledge.
Well, I would suggest looking at setting up a neighbourhood forum then, and putting pressure on your, local council.
Well, we have Councillor John Davies, who is a member of Speedwatch, in fact, for
Right.
St Ives, and has written to the mayor, expressing disappointment that the town council would have made decisions on ill-founded and misinformed information. If anybody's going to do a neighbourhood watch, it would have to be somebody like Councillor John Davies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because
How you suggest I go to him?
Yes, because I mean, basically how it works in the city is that we have the city councillors and the county council representatives decide the police priorities, and they listen to the community's appetite and what they want. And there's a debate, and people make representation, and that's localism at its best, really.
But that has actually been stated. In fact, it was in the Hunts Post just a few weeks ago, showing the Chief Constable and the Police and Crime Commissioner declaring that speeding and burglaries, they have been told are now top of their priority list. They haven't seen any result from that.
No, I say I definitely take it to your local council.
But that's in Huntingdonshire, and Inspector Greenhow is from the Huntingdon area, and so that was a priority for the Huntingdon area, of which St Ives is a member. But we've seen no result from that declaration.
Chairman, thank you very much for the report. I think it's interesting. I just wonder how we might be able to progress this particular issue. It seems as though there might be a need for some improved communication. I'm just wondering whether you, Chairman, as a local member there, whether you should be talking to the parish or town council and see whether there's anything that you can do or others can do to try to unlock this particular problem.
I'm happy to do that, but if we can take the questions from the floor first. Good proposal, and I'll give that. Councillor Criswell.
Several things, Chairman, if I may. I'd like to thank Mr McCandless for the work he does. I see it firsthand. I drove past him very slowly earlier today. The neighbourhood forums that the police used to run in Huntingdonshire, the police withdrew the funding from those and they died out. I did some work with the district council, and there is now a local joint committee model that can be introduced. The model is sitting there waiting. It just has to be enacted by local communities to get together, and it is recognised by the district council. So there's an opportunity for local joint committees, and the police have said they will attend. So that certainly could be organised in any of the areas in Huntingdonshire. Just to move the debate on, Chairman, it's not a question for Mr McCandless, but perhaps one for the officers present. Mr Onslow will no doubt know. When is the next Road Safety Partnership meeting, Chairman? Is this something we can get on the agenda, a discussion about Speedwatch, and get on this agenda item these requests from Mr McCandless that we have before us?
Would you like to?
Please, yes.
Yes, so the Road Safety Partnership meets on a regular basis. I don't have the date to hand in the next meeting, but it will be within the next few months. Councillor Maguire is the chair of that partnership, and absolutely no reason at all why this can't be raised at the next partnership board meeting. Obviously, just to reiterate that it is, the scheme is run by the police. They are members of the partnership, and of course this is a matter of local choice as to whether parish councils, town councils wish to support this particular scheme. However, I think the issues have been raised. I've jotted them down, and I'm happy to take them forward to the Road Safety Partnership, and in particular this issue about awareness and understanding of the benefits of the Speedwatch scheme.
Okay. Before I take any further questions, it would seem that we have a good way forward, in that certainly the Road Safety Partnership are the authority in this area. I would like to propose from the chair that we take the offer for this to be presented to the Road Safety Partnership, that they report back to us, to the council officers, on any decisions or actions they would take, and that we therefore postpone any further action on our behalf until the Road Safety Partnership have had a time to have a chance to look at it.
I'd also like to propose that the local members, at the district, the town and county should look into the possibility of setting up the joint committees, because that gives a governance of elected members who then can be lobbied or discuss the issues that come forward from the public, and then provide a conduit for what is.
Would that be something that
I think the thing too in tandem really.
we can write? So in that case, the proposal is one, that we hand it over to the Safety Partnership initially to look at, that we as a council write to the other councils with a view to getting their opinion as to whether they think it would be beneficial to set up a partnership.
As a scrutiny control council. There's this committee.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, sorry, this committee rather than that. They are two proposals.
Or we would write to the other councils to ask.
So it's Cambridgeshire to see whether it would be, they think it would be beneficial to set up the partnership I suggested.
Right.
I don't think it needs to be as formal. I think it needs
It's
I would
just a
suggest
question.
the local, you approach, and maybe with the support of the chair, whoever the local members are, and look at setting up the joint committee. Because then it gives you a structure that the public can come to, voice their
Is that-
concerns.
Concerns about everything?
Well, in order to have a forum to set the police priorities, which the public should have a
We
view.
have a neighbourhood watch actually, which sets the priorities for the police.
Jim, it's done differently in different parts
That
of
was,
the year.
well, that was my question
Yeah.
originally, is where are your police priorities set? And if they're not being set with an opportunity for the public to input, I suggest that you look at...
If we go back to, I don't know the answer to that question. Do we have any that
To the chair. Yeah,
Councillor, do
local-
you know the answer?
It was me that led the work on local joint committees at Cambridgeshire District Council, Chairman. And that model now exists, but it's up to local communities to say, we want a local joint committee, and there's a map there with all the communities that are on that local committee. It's St Ives and surrounding villages for St Ives. And one of those towns needs to say, yes, we want to hold a local joint committee, and invite all the others.
So we still need to write to that.
And they can put anything on the agenda they want, and all county councillors, district councillors, and the town councillors are represented as well.
Okay, so we still need to write to the town council to see whether they'd be interested
Yes.
in
We
joining
can do that in an official capacity, Chair, to suggest it.
Is that what the committee would like?
Yeah.
All in favour? Any against? Motion.
Chairman, just on the second point that was raised around the signs, I just wanted to confirm that the Speedwatch signs have been through the proper safety process. And as the Highway Authority, we are satisfied that they are safe signs to use.
I did understand that, but you're quite right. I think that should go down in a minute,
I think
so that everybody reading them is aware of that. Councillor Shannon's, I know you were on the list anyway, Councillor Shannon's. I did interrupt beforehand, but
I
please.
didn't want us to move on to the next business. So, like others, I would like to thank you for the work that you've done and also for your persistence in coming here and dragging us into taking this forward. And I very much support Speedwatch. One of my concerns is the authenticity of the readings that you get, in that if I see a dirty grey sign that's a technical term, saying Speedwatch, it's just possible I might alter my behaviour. And as Councillor Criswell has already alluded to. And my second point is that I would like to find out if Speedwatch makes an effective difference, a lasting effective difference. And I've spoken to some members before the meeting. I have had many concerns expressed to me about speeding, particularly on Sapley Road in Huntingdon, which is a downhill straight road with some extremely annoying chicanes. And I was so concerned that I bought my own speed camera. And so I am able to stand by the side of the road. I don't ask anybody's permission. I do not have a big yellow jacket on, and I'm invisible to the drivers, and I record the speeds. And on Sapley Road, we got as many as 26.4% of 1,050 cars were at or below the speed limit. So you can work out how many were above the speed limit.
26 were below.
26 were at or below the speed limit.
Crikey.
Nobody was doing more than 48.
Let's get a question there. Mr McCandless, does Huntingdon have a Speedwatch team, or is it an area you cover?
Not really.
Maybe it's something to take back to Huntingdon Town Council
Yeah, they
or
don't
the
really
district
have
council
an
to see whether
active
they
team.
want.
They don't have an active team. It doesn't figure in the stats from the business support unit, which correlates all the stats for the whole of Cambridgeshire, and Huntingdon does not show up on those stats.
Right, so having taken these measurements, I then did pretty graphs and took them to, as it turns out, Mark Greenhalgh. What I would like to suggest is that we carry out an anonymous before and after survey, i.e. we go out with dirty Macs on which hide the speed gun, stand by the side of the road in a particular place, I don't care where, take the readings, follow that up with Speedwatch, go back a fortnight later, a month later, 3 months later, and compare the figures. Because if you can produce evidence that this actually makes a lasting difference, it is extremely hard for both the police and anybody else to say no.
Would you like me to comment on that? The effectiveness of Speedwatch.
Yes.
The police can't, unfortunately, at the moment, tell us how effective Speedwatch is.
But I could.
No. Speedwatch effectiveness is not based on numbers or speeds or percentages. Speedwatch effectiveness is based on the number of people who repeatedly speed. In other words, pay no attention to the advice that Speedwatch is given. That is how I measure it. There is a database off from the police that will allow them to detect how many people are repeat offenders. Demographics change, and you can get people one day passing you, and then because of the change of demographics, a different set of people pass you. Do it at a different time, and a different set of people pass you again. So the numbers and the percentages really don't mean a great deal unless they're backed up by figures telling you what the repeat instances are. And the police have got no way of telling that. The computer will tell you if there is a repeat offender, because when they put the number into their database, it will come up with a memo field detailing all the previous offences. But there is no report that can be run on that particular memo field to extract all of the repeat offenders to give you a report. So there is no stat that the police can give you on that. If you believe, like I do, that the efficiency or the effectiveness of Speedwatch, first of all, the letter goes out, how many people are actually taking note of that? 80% do, but there'll always be the obstinate, the belligerent, and those that are just totally distracted at the moment in time, generally because they're on the phone.
I hear that, I understand all that. I still make the point that we have a potential recidivist opposite me here, in that he admitted that he slowed down because he knew that Speedwatch was out. And so if you get trends, you can get useful information. But if you prefer doing it your way, that's fine. I'm simply making the offer.
The villages we visit that have got these permanent signs up now, most certainly the residents say there is a marked difference. Down Colne Road, Brenda, yesterday morning we were out there at 8 o'clock, he said it's made a big difference because people don't know whether we're there or not, and therefore slow down in case we are. And discipline, or whatever it is, when I was in the Air Force, discipline used to be observance of the rules through fear of the consequences. And that basically still applies to people getting a letter. Albeit an advisement letter, it is still somebody slapping their wrist saying you've been speeding.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Schumann.
Thank you, Chair. Just a very, very quick comment. Obviously, you've been given the committee has given the go-ahead that we will support your wishes to see Speedwatch implemented. However, I think also it carries weight if you were able, or a group were able, to lobby local residents in getting their support and a clear message to anyone that doesn't opt in, parish councils. They are democratically elected. If their residents request that they have Speedwatch, then they are at liberty to do so. So I think maybe as another sideline for your case, as a personal sort of cry out to you, is that please lobby your residents and give the parish council a clear message from the residents that they are elected, who they are elected by.
Unfortunately, Speedwatch is word rich and penny poor because unlike Neighbourhood Watch, Speedwatch has got absolutely no budget in any police budget or any county council budget. We operate by begging the police to find some way of doing the letters, of finding the postage. It costs 73p to actually process a letter, and then another 33p on the top of that for the postage. We've been through the costing of it, but we have got no money ourselves, even for flyers to go around. I do the flyers for all the villages from my company's printer. Nobody pays me for that. It's just something I believe in, and therefore I do it because I believe in it.
Right. If I may, Chair, just come back to that. If you can get some very passionate people, and you'll find them, just to have an A4 piece of paper with someone sign their name onto, at least that says something to the parish councils. That's all I'm recommending. Nothing too robust, but something as simple as a signed petition.
I don't want the PCC to think me to be more of a troublemaker than he already thinks I am.
Mr. Cameron, thank you very much for your presentation. I think we have agreed as a committee that we will through the council officers, go back to the safety partnerships. We will write to the councils suggesting or inviting them to comment on forming the partnership group. Councillor Shellings, from a council point of view, I think if you think you need a Speedwatch team, I'm sure we have a team here who'd be more than invited, but you need the local council approval. So if you have a problem in your part of Huntingdon, I would suggest to go to the town council and see if we can get approval to operate it, and then obviously make contact either with Inspector Greenhow or Mr. McCandless to make a start on Saturday Road. I agree, I drive Saturday Road, I hate those chicanes and people do speed down there, so...
The highest speed we recorded, for information, is 96 miles an hour, not in Huntingdon.
Okay. So, Mr. McCandless, we have a couple of options going forward, which we've agreed to. I hope you're happy with those.
Oh, absolutely.
I firmly believe it's probably as much as we can do at the moment as a
Indeed.
committee, but it does move it forward. I don't know what the answers will be from either organisation, but I will write to you personally with those answers when we get them in the future.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your time.
Chairman, can we just check, has John Onslow got the issues and requests that we're supporting in with Speedwatch?
Well, we'll pick them up from the
Okay, thank you. We've got a document here with them in, John.
Yeah, I mean, probably give that on, I'm sure. You are quite happy to stay if you wish, Mr. McCandless, but if you have more pressing things, thank you.
So the Speedwatch session.